Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms or responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
I'm Ellia Smeding, Team GB long track speed skater. You're listening to the latest on the Winter Olympics from Anything But Footy.
It's day 2 and we've yet to have a Team GB athlete in a final, but Olympic champion and now head of Team GB thinks we could exceed our medal target, or should I say ambition. I'm John.
And I'm Michael. This is the latest Milano Daily from Anything But Footy, talking about the Olympics and the Paralympics all the time, not just once every 4 years. Special guest on the podcast today, I have been speaking to Baroness Katherine Grainger. Although there was some debate about what we should actually title her, she apparently still prefers Dame. Although when I spoke to her and said, "Can you introduce yourself?" she just said Katherine.
Katherine Grainger, Chair of the British Olympic Association.
Skeleton defeat in court, Slopestyle supreme for Marvellous Muir, and 7 heaven and semi-finals for Bruce and Jen.
Switzerland win the first gold of the Games, and the hosts are on the medal table too, and how important that could be in terms of building momentum here in Italy. We will have a roundup of the rest of the news from the Games, and in tomorrow's news today, it's nearly Lilah and Lewis time.
And he's been there 24 hours. How many pizzas has Michael had? This is Milano Daily from Anything But Footy. Download, listen and follow. Pass it on to your friends and fellow Olympic fans. More episodes, of course, to come throughout the next few days.
Hi, I'm Chris McCormick. You're listening to Anything But Footy with the latest on the Winter Olympics.
Well, Great Britain have only ever won one medal before in the first 7 days of a Winter Olympics. We said this year it feels a little bit different. Katherine Grainger agrees too. She is coming up. You note I said Katherine, not Baroness or Dame. We'll also round up the big results in qualifying and group stages as they're giving us hope. But first, day 2. How are you settling in, Michael? Like the Team GB athletes? Had the pizza, have you?
I haven't had any pizza, actually. I thought that would be a bit of a cliche, wouldn't it, to have pizza on my first full day in Italy here at the Winter Games. So, no, I had a spaghetti carbonara because pasta's not cliche at all. It was a really nice day yesterday. Obviously, my first full day here in Milan, and it's obviously a Saturday in Milan as well. So the Milanese are enjoying their weekend. And I got into the city centre, and there is just that wonderful, good for the soul Olympic vibe that you will know all about from Paris and other Olympic cities that you've been in at Olympics time. So I had a little wander around. I went down to see the Duomo, and obviously there they've got the big countdown clock, which for the Olympics is now sitting at 0. Still, of course, ticking down for the Paralympic Games, and everybody was there posing for their photos. Lots of camera crews and things wandering around. Outside the Duomo, they've got the big studio set up for those broadcasters that are using that as their backdrop for these games, broadcasting it to whichever country they are from around the world. And I basically just took to Milan on foot yesterday. So I walked from there right up to go and see the Cauldron in Milan as well, which, as we were talking about in yesterday's podcast, is in the city centre. and you kind of walk up through a castle and into a park to go and see it. And as I said, the buzz around the place was just absolutely fantastic. And the barometer of, is a city having a good games? Are people talking to each other on the trams? Yes, they are.
Right.
You know what it's like? You have these plastic accreditation cards that everybody that's involved with the games wears, and you get on the tram and everybody's looking at your card and then slightly disappointed that you are not an athlete, perhaps, but they then are interested in who you are and what you're doing and what you've seen and where you're going. And lots of people, I spoke to quite a few locals on the trams and the trains yesterday coming back last night from the figure skating, and they were all interested in what I thought of the opening ceremony. Did I like it? What did I think of Italy? What message did it portray of Milan and of the city? So I think it's been a really nice, and it's always the way, isn't it, with the game starting on a Friday night. It's been really nice just to have this opening weekend just to kind of capture the atmosphere. The bars and the restaurants seem busy. I know I was in and around some of the touristy areas. They would naturally be busy, but if you recall Paris, and we were on the Champs-Élysées when the games began, they weren't busy. They weren't too concerned, but this feels a bit more different. There is a buzz around the place, and everybody seems to be really welcoming. The one thing I would say is, if you are coming out to Milan at any point, the queues for the shops and the mega store, there's a mega store near the Duomo, are phenomenally long, and you can't get a mascot anywhere for love nor money. We've spoken about Katherine Grainger. Katherine and I are in WhatsApp contact at the moment on the hunt for mascots. We're working as a team because she wants a mascot to take home. I need to get a mascot to take home for my daughters, although they're a little bit old for it now. So actually it's for me. But we can't find any in Milan, and we've looked between us in a number of shops. So she's now on her way to Livigno and Cortina, where she will be trying to hunt them down there. And we've got a deal, or we've got a plan. Whoever sees one first will pick one up for the other one. So, yeah, if you're looking for mascots, go online.
It's like Celebrity Mascot Hunt. There's there's a BBC TV program there. There you go. You can have that one.
I must be in the non-celebrity version.
Not at all. Not at all. Many Brits around?
Not many that I have seen, to be honest. I've seen one or two Union flags around. I think, as you know, if we get to some of the venues where some of the Brits are competing, and I did go and see the figure skating Ed Appleby last night, and I know there was a little section of Ed fans in the arena last night, but I think when we maybe go to see the speed skating for Ellia Smeding, who I know we're going to hear from later, or Niall Tracy here in Milan, I imagine you'll probably see a little bit of a British contingent there. But yeah, lots of Americans making themselves known. Plenty of Europeans from many and various nations as well, and huge numbers of fans from China and Japan as well here as well. So yeah, a real good Olympic feel. As I said, it was an excellent tonic for me and felt good for the soul.
Good stuff. Well, let's round up those Team GB and Milano Cortina headlines so far as we start day two. Kirsty Muir qualified third in tomorrow's free ski slopestyle final. Absolutely flying, the X Games champion. China's Eileen Gu second in qualifying. Switzerland's Mathilde Grimaud was first. It is the final tomorrow, free ski slopestyle. Not to be for Chris McCormick, unfortunately, who we actually heard from just then in the men's slopestyle qualification at the start of the pod, carrying a slight ankle injury, we understand as well. The 27-year-old came off one of the rails early. It's a shame, as his jumps were absolutely excellent in that. And we actually watched that competition yesterday afternoon, and the number of rails that you've got to hit, and you can't come off early, you've got to get right to the tip, the twists, the jumps, the backward skiing. I mean, you're coming down a mountain, for goodness sake. It was quite incredible. And actually, we had to watch it on TNT and Discovery because the BBC were showing curling on Saturday afternoon. Look, and I understand that's really big for GB, as Mike will explain in a moment, but there is some criticism that that's all they're showing. And it's really easy because they're in Cortina and they're showing it and it's comfortable and everyone knows what they're doing. But let's be different. Let's tell some of these snow stories, because tomorrow Kirsty Muir and Mia Brooks are going to be all that people want to talk about, because they're going to hopefully win some medals. But it was great to see Chris McCormack in action, and good luck to Kirsty in that final on Monday.
I must mention, as we record this, it's early Sunday morning here in Milan, and my apartment is next to one of the biggest churches I've ever seen, and the bells are ringing currently. So if you are hearing the bells in the background, that is what it is.
We're not hearing them, but I'd like to.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll try and maybe negotiate a position to record this closer to the church so you can hear some of the wonderful church bells that I'm hearing this morning. You mentioned obviously Chris McCormack there. That big air event that he will go again in now is going to be on the 15th of February. You talk about slopestyle, 3 jumps, 3 rails. So it's all about things like the double corks and the misties, the 270 on the front swaps and the pretzels. And those are what you do on the rails. As you say, it's brilliant to watch. And I'm upset for you that you've not had the opportunity to watch that. It's interesting watching Italian TV because, of course, it's quite a different outlook. It's very snow focused here, whereas I think, as you say, what you're getting in the early stages on British television is lots of curling, because that is what we perceive that the people at home want to see and understand. But there is a lot of curling to come. The mixed doubles has been brilliant so far for Team GB. They are 1 match away from a medal because they are guaranteed. They're into the semi-finals with 2 matches to spare. So only one other team remains. They're the only team, rather, that remain unbeaten. They've seen off Canada 7-5. And they also beat the United States 6-4 to maintain that perfect start, 7 from 7. So they topped the round robin. Jen Dodds, speaking afterwards, says that we knew we had to step up our game, and we did that. Who will they face in the semis? Well, we don't know yet. Bruce Moat says it's important they don't relax. He says we're not going to ease up. We're going to try and keep the momentum rolling. Hammer's a big thing in our sport, so having the advantage in the semis is what we want. If we get 2 wins, then we guarantee it for both games, regardless of what games they are as well. So I think we were joking, weren't we, that now they've guaranteed selection for the semis, could we rest them and put another in? It's not. I don't think that's an advantage in curling. I actually think the more time the guys get on the ice, I know fatigue and tiredness will kick in eventually, but actually the more time you get on the ice and getting to know the ice, and Bruce Moat said that he didn't in the early stages of this feel totally on top.
That's right.
So I think actually having 2 matches now, which are not must win, would be great for the reasons that Bruce has just explained there, to win, but they can use them as excellent learning experiences. And I think that's probably the way they have to sort of proceed now in this tournament, but into the semis.
It's a great start, as you say. British bobsleigh and skeleton, not so much. They lost their appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport last night. That new Team GB helmets for the Olympics were against the rules. Now, the helmet is different from the standard shape. We understand it's got a slightly novel design, which actually peaks at the back. So it looks a lot more like a cycling helmet than a skeleton helmet, developed to enhance aerodynamic performance, of course. Now, the CAS panel determined that the British Bobsleigh and Skeleton Association, the BBSA, did not sufficiently establish the helmet complies with current international rules. And so, as a consequence, their application was dismissed. In a statement, BBSA said they were disappointed, but they said they were in a strong position to continue winning medals at Milano Cortina, and no further comment would be made until after the games. Fortunately, I managed to catch up earlier on in the week with world number 3 Marcus Wyatt and World Cup medalist Amelia Coltman about what they thought of the situation heading into these games.
All our success has been with our current helmet. This is just something British Skeleton has a history of innovation, so it's just background noise at the moment. I'm very happy with the equipment I have, and the equipment that whatever I use at the games, I have no doubt will be the best equipment for me at that time.
We're always trying to innovate and improve our equipment because we want to win. We have to focus on the things we can control, so it doesn't really feel like a big deal. We know that we can be competitive in either helmet. and there's so many more aspects to our performance that kind of matter more than that. You know, our push start, that's something we can massively control, and our sliding lines. So I guess for me, I'm just focusing on what I can control right now.
Team GB's Anna Price. I mean, we said at the start no Brits had been in a final yet in these Olympics, but Anna Price could argue. Of course, she was in a final because she was in a medal event yesterday. Anna Price, she finished 42nd in the women's 10K cross country and ski athlon. So this is where you do 10K, then you kind of switch the ski style and then do another 10K. That's the ski athlon. Sweden's Frida Karlsson won the gold, a massive 51 seconds ahead of the fellow Swede Eva Andersson in silver. Frida even had enough time to get a flag to carry over the line. I do like that in Olympics. As you know, I've seen it quite a lot in triathlon. Norway won the bronze. And for Anna Price, she will have 2 more events at these games. We've spoken quite a bit about Katherine Grainger, chair of the British Olympic Association. She is here in Milan and she's been all over. She was in Livigno. She was at the opening ceremony. Well, I was with her yesterday in Milan itself, and she is off to Cortina. And I've been speaking to her about Team GB's hopes for the Winter Games.
I believe, and now we'll find out for real. I mean, I think coming in, we couldn't have been in a better place. We've got brilliant athletes who have had more success already than we've seen any team in the past. We've got it across more sports. We've got 53 athletes competing in a really wide range, and they are all, certainly the ones I've been anywhere near or spoken to or already watched in competition, they are really up for it. And now you'd expect that because this is games time and it comes very rarely. But there's still often you come into games and sometimes you want more time to prepare, or there might have been injuries or illnesses people are carrying. But this feels like a team that's just ready to just ignite. And I think we are going to enjoy the next 2 weeks.
The medal ambition is 4 to 8. That is what UK Sport have told us. Are you confident that that is the right range?
We have an extraordinary team with the most amazing potential. And if everyone reaches the potential, and not everyone can or will, there's a lot that can happen during games time, and it's certainly not a given that everyone will be able to perform at their absolute best. But if everyone can come close to that or do that, yes, we'll absolutely be in that range and possibly exceed it. We've been in this position before, and sometimes we achieve it and sometimes we don't, and sport is unpredictable, which is why we all love it, let's be honest. But I do think this is the potential, as the range says, to be the best team for the Winters we've ever seen. The 5 has been the record so far. I do think this team could surpass that. But what we want to see is amazing inspirational performances. We want to see athletes at the height of their games doing the best potential, and that will be inspirational enough.
And important for you, is it, to have chances across a wide variety of disciplines and sports? Because we do, with this team, have opportunities to win medals in various sports. I
think one of the things, I mean, it's a team that's funded by the public purse, effectively, through the National Lottery and the government. And what you want mainly is to see that those athletes deliver. They're sort of the nation's team. Team GB is the nation's team. And you want the British public to embrace them, to love them, to celebrate them, and to create some great success and huge inspiration that comes from that. And I think that is the opportunity that this team has, and they will deliver in a way that we can't be seen. And our job as Team GB, supporting them as athletes, is to make sure we've taken away any challenges that exist to put them in that spotlight. But I think it'll be inspirational like we haven't seen before.
You mentioned funding. That's more a UK sport question, I guess. But do you think 32.5 million, which is the investment, represents value for money?
I think, and this is what the next 2 weeks is sort of the showcase piece of any sport. So if you're Olympic sport, then these 2 weeks, whether it's winter or summer, is kind of the true test for every athlete, and you want to show it. And now, if this team is all that we hope it can be and brings those moments of inspiration and performance, then I do think investment in Olympic sport is good value for money. We have, we get incredible support. It's not just, obviously there's World Championships and World Cups and things that happen in between. And we've seen teams that have consistently been performing across the last 4 years. And we want, obviously every athlete wants to have this moment. It's usually the Olympic Games that stands above any other event as the moment of this is what we all get defined by. So, it's our job to make sure we maximise that moment for them. But I think we do. I think the British public who we aren't a sort of natural, we always talk about, we're not really a natural winter sport. And yet, at games time, we all become experts. We all sit at home and we all get it on the TVs and we all listen to radio and we all read about it. And we all think we could advise now the curling team on how their tactics are, and we could, coach the figure skaters. And it's wonderful because, as an athlete, when I've been there, you want people to feel that connection and feel that relevance and feel they are part of the same team. So I think when you can create that back home, then the investment is absolutely worthwhile.
So Katherine Grainger talking to Michael, she said we could exceed that medal ambition. 4 to 8 is a big number. Certainly 8. It would be more than we've ever won before, as we've said previously. There is this feeling that we're doing all right. You're right. Anna Price did brilliantly to finish 42nd. She's a 24-year-old in her first Olympics. I think you said you were at the skating, and Ed Appleby in the men's singles in the team event. That was a season's best. That's all you can ask, that these people do their best, can't you? But then we've got hopes that we know of coming up in the next few days, and we'll talk about, of course, here on Anything But Footy, that we have a real good chance of winning a medal. But is it right to talk about it yet until we've got one in the back pocket?
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Winning medals at the Olympic Games. If we weren't talking about winning medals, I don't really know why we're here. We know that this sort of opening weekend, it was never going to be a medal weekend for Team GB. And Katherine Grainger here will only be doing what we've done and what UK Sport have done, and that will be looking at the data. We heard from what she was saying there, the form that these athletes have been in coming into these games across a range of disciplines, and very much used to be the chair of UK Sport, of course, which was all about, getting a range of disciplines and getting success across a big range of disciplines there. So she will know that there are significant medal hopes. She's also spent quite a lot of time in and around the athletes themselves, talking to them. And that will be a conversation that she's having one-on-one, off the record, probably athlete to athlete, although she's obviously now an administrator in Olympic sport. But I think she still very much is an athlete first. That's still very much her kind of focus in the way that she presents herself. So she will have a good idea how the team are feeling. And I think momentum is important. And I think what the curlers are showing us, although obviously they haven't won a medal there yet, that will be permeating through the team, that bit of feel good. And you're exactly right. You'll be seeing people like Ed Appleby coming back into the village. It was never going to be a performance that would put Great Britain into the final of that team event. But Ed Appleby will walk in going, season's best, what else can I do? I've peaked at exactly the right time, and he will go back to the village and people will feed off that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at it, and I know I moaned slightly about the curling earlier, but I'm not moaning about it. 7 wins out of 7 is supreme. We just got to keep it going in those semi-finals. We're going to have more news from the games in a moment, and tomorrow's news today as well. We cover the Olympics all the time, not every 4 years. This is Milano Daily from Anything But Footy.
Kaylee Cuoco and Sam Claflin star in the MGM Plus original series, Vanished. When the man Alice loves disappears on a train to the south of France, every romantic memory becomes evidence. Every intimate detail, a potential threat. She thought she knew everything about him, but she may not even know his real name. New episode Sunday on MGM Plus. Finding the truth is a dangerous affair.
Hi, I'm Lilah Fear.
And I'm Lewis Gibson, and you're listening to Anything But Footy,
with the latest on the Winter Olympics.
This is Milano Daily. The first gold medal of the Cortina Games came in the men's downhill in Bormio. Switzerland's world champion, Franjo van Almen, a 24-year-old, winning in a time of 1:51.61. And host nation Italy took silver and bronze. More on Italy in a second. Lindsey Vonn, though, skied the downhill course quicker in the third and final official practice before racing later today. But after 23 competitors, the action was actually terminated in Cortina due to weather conditions and for safety reasons. So fingers crossed we get some action today. She has confirmed she will race on Insta last night. She said, "I can't guarantee the result, but I can guarantee I will give it everything." We wouldn't expect anything else from Lindsey Vonn. And Michael mentioned the Italians earlier, and I just have Francesco Lollobrigida won the host nation's first gold in an Olympic record. The 35-year-old Italian, on her 35th birthday, won the women's 3,000 metre speed skating in 3:54.28. She's like 2 seconds ahead of anyone else, and celebrated with her young toddler as well, who was allowed onto the playing area without a accreditation that Michael was mentioning earlier. And Lollobrigida was the silver medalist 4 years ago, and it's Italy's first speed skating gold medal.
Going to go and see some speed skating over the next couple of days. But last night I was at the figure skating down in the south of Milan at the figure skating arena. Went to see Ed Appleby as Great Britain concluded their participation in the team event. There's another day now, if you like, finals day for that figure skating team event, but Great Britain won't go. They finished 9th overall, so 9th out of the 10 teams, but the USA top the rankings, and I was very privileged to see the man they call the quad god last night. He's a 21-year-old from the US. He's called Ilya Malinin. Look out for him in the men's singles as well. He's the only skater ever to have landed the quadruple axel. He's a reigning world champion. He also enjoys putting a backflip into his program. And the noise when he was on the ice last night, and he was, I think he was last up, one of the last up on the ice last night, was absolutely fantastic. And what's really good about that team skating as well, which I hadn't realized, is that one end of the arena, the teams all sit there together in a line, and they're all watching on. So what happens is 9 delegations will be sat there. So all the team will be sat there. And then obviously when your skater is on the ice, the whole team will then come and move and sit in like a hot spot zone, if you like, where the cameras are very much focused on them. So I thought that was a really nice detail. It was fantastic to be in the ice skating arena. I did have a little bit of a set too with someone whilst I was there, because as I was trying
not JD Vance, did it? Was it?
Well, I don't know who it was, to be honest, because as I was trying to get into the interview zone, which I have every right to be in, by the way,
not with recording equipment,
not with recording equipment, but I can go down there and speak to people and arrange things. As I went to go in, a huge delegation from the United States came out with lots of security people, and one of them pressed me against the door and grabbed me by the wrist. Now, I didn't really mind this. In fact, I found it quite exciting, to be honest, but I thought, no, I'm going to create some drama here. So I went, don't touch me. And whoever was in the middle, it was a lady, and she was in full head to toe kind of stars and stripes. I don't know who it was, but I'm presuming some kind of celebrity that was watching the figure skating. She apologized and said thank you on behalf of her security detail.
So, in all seriousness, it could have been someone from the delegation, from an American delegation. Obviously, JD Vance is here with his wife and the like, so it could have been part of that delegation. It could have been it wasn't Mariah Carey. It definitely wasn't Mariah Carey.
Definitely wasn't Mariah Carey. I think I would have recognized Mariah from the life in her eyes.
She would have needed a teleprompter to say thank you, if you believe what happened in the opening ceremony as well. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Try not to get arrested by some ICE agent out there, please. That would be really, really not a good idea. Tomorrow's news today, our TNT slot on Milano Daily. We look ahead, which allows you to start thinking about what you're going to be watching on a Monday in the games. And we mentioned it's nearly Lilah and Lewis time. We'll hear from their teammates in a moment. But first, Michael mentioned about the speed skating. We heard that brilliant gold medal from the Italians in the Milano speed skating stadium. Well, in action for Team GB in the women's long track, 1,000 metres on Monday in tomorrow's news today will be Ellia Smeding.
So it's a time trial sport. There are 2 skaters at a time racing each other, but it doesn't really matter. It's the time that counts. So everyone's battling to skate the the fastest time out of everyone. So you don't know till the final pair, when the last time has been put on the board, who actually won.
And you're competing, I'm right in saying, in 2 events. So tell us the 2 events that you're competing at. What sort of speeds as well are you getting up to?
So I'm competing in the 1,000 metres and 1,500 metres. And the 1,000 metres is, I'd say, more sprint distance. So you get off the line, you go as fast as you possibly can, and you hold that speed for as long as possible. And then, you cross the line and hope to be really fast. 1,500, you equally want to be fast, but you have to pace yourself a little bit better because it is almost four laps. You can't just go off as hard as possible because you will die out pretty hard. So it's a bit more pacing yourself, but obviously you need the speed there as well.
And how fast are you going at any point?
I mean, they measure it in kilometres per hour, so on a good day, 55k per hour.
And long track's not quite as jeopardy as the short track, but there's still that kind of fear, adrenaline in the event? I
wouldn't say fear as such, but obviously you're always thinking, okay, you need to, don't make mistakes because you are on a thin blade, you are on slippery ice, so you need to make sure that you're controlling every movement, and it's actually a lot harder than it probably looks, but you need so much control from your core and your legs to make sure that you're, pushing into the ice, but also, not slipping all over the place, so yeah.
You're based out in Canada, as we know. Talk us through a training week then. How many hours are you on the ice, in the gym? What are you doing?
Yeah. So we skate about 5 times a week. So that's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We take a couple of days off just because it's so hard, in terms of coordination. So you don't want to, completely burn the system out too much. And then the other trainings, we usually do quite a lot of cycling, and we're in the gym twice a week.
And just to wrap up, what for you would represent something that would bring you a tremendous amount of pride when you're heading back from these games?
I think putting down performances that I know I'm capable of is super important to me. I think the Olympics is special in itself, where there is a lot of pressure, but there's also so much excitement and buzz, and I want to be able to go out there and get all my energy out on the ice and show everyone what long track's all about, and hopefully inspire the younger generation.
Ellia Smeding talking to Michael. Good luck to her. She's in action at 4:30 Monday afternoon UK time. Figure skating. Michael mentioned how amazing it was to be in the Milano ice skating arena. Well, it's going to get even louder and bigger because Lilah Fear and Lewis Gibson, Britain's big hopes in the ice dance, will start their campaign with the rhythm dance, which we know is the Spice Girls routine that we saw in the team event a couple of days ago. They finished third, of course, in that team event, but this is the first of 2 dances that they do in the ice dance, and they will be in action tomorrow evening, just before 9 o'clock, Monday evening. Is worth keeping an eye on for the figure skating. Lilah Fear and Lewis Gibson will be in action. So will Spain's Olivia Smart, who's actually from Sheffield, with Tim Dieck as well. And, of course, the Italians' home favourites, Charlene Gounard and Marco Frabbi. Phebe Bekker and James Hernandez will also be in action for Team GB, and we caught up with them about what the ice dance is all about.
First up will be the rhythm dance, and us alongside all of our competitors will compete a program just a little bit shorter than 3 minutes, and it's themed to the 90s, so we will have to pick music from the 90s, either originally released in the 90s or a remix that came out in the 90s, and it has to be high energy, high octane, and hopefully very fun to watch, and we'll be skating to George Michael's Freedom.
And what are the judges looking for there? What have you got to get into that free dance?
They've really specified with this year that they're wanting to bring energy, and I think that's really special with this Olympic year. We're always trying to introduce new fans and new people to really get involved in this sport, and I hope that picking music from the 90s can really resonate with a lot of fans watching. Be like, oh my god, I love this song, this was such a great song when I was younger, and I think that's very special in itself. So they're looking for the high energy and to really engage with the crowd, which is great.
They're also looking at our elements in there as well. So we'll have a lift, we have footworks where they're a little hard to identify to the naked eye, but they're sections where we're skating not touching and we're doing difficult turns. So we're moving our blade in a way that's considered difficult, and the judges are evaluating how well we do that. Sometimes we don't even know. And a mix of how energetic can we perform this with how precise and technical we can do those required elements.
And then the second dance, what's that called, and what are we looking for there?
So the free dance, that's the next program that we would compete. This is a bit longer. It's be just over 4 minutes, for 4 minutes plus or minus 10 seconds. And actually you can skate to anything you would like. We really wanted to pick a strong theme that held a very good storyline and something that people could really resonate with. So, of course, Italy, the Olympics are in Italy right now, and we're very British as well. So we were like, oh my gosh, what's the perfect mix of that? And we've decided on going with Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet for this free dance.
You'll see from us and probably everybody else, the free dance is much more of a free, hence why it's called the free dance program. People are allowed to express their skating a bit more. You're allowed to skate a bit more fluid and less confined by the rules. There are still very, very, very many rules that we have to conform to. But there are more elements for the judges to evaluate, so more lifts, more spins, more turns, things like that. But it's a chance where we get to actually show our skating and our personalities a bit more. And hopefully we hope with our Romeo and Juliet, we're able to show our true skating, which we always categorise as fairly graceful and quite classy and hopefully fast.
I know it's going to be a difficult one to describe on the radio, but why should people tune in and hear what you guys are going to do?
I feel like there's nothing more special than supporting, athletes going to the Olympics. Like, we're here to represent our whole country, so ultimately we are here to represent anyone that would be watching, and hopefully that can create some sort of connection through the audience, through the TV screen, or even people in the audience watching.
Well, we just came from a home crowding Europeans in Sheffield, and they did a pretty good job of making us feel very loved. So for the millions of people that normally tune in to watch the Olympics, I think you're going to watch two people who are very, very proud to be there representing the Union Jack. And it's the honour of my lifetime to get to go to this Games. And I hope people join us with that.
So that's me talking there to Phebe Bekker and James Hernandez, all about the ice dance, everything you need to know about what to look forward to at the Milan Ice Skating Arena there. So continuing tomorrow's news today. So as we sit here and record, it's a Sunday, but we are talking about what you are going to be looking forward to on Monday. At the Livigno Snow Park, we've got freestyle skiing, and Kirsty Muir will be in finals action Monday lunchtime, if you can skive off work maybe to watch that. I won't say skive off school because my children sometimes listen to this. Of course, it's going to be a big day in Livigno, we hope, for Team GB, because later on you've got the women's big air final. So Mia Brooks and Maisie Hill could be in that if they come through qualification. So there will be two final runs. So maybe, just maybe, 2 medals in Livigno on what would be day 3 of competition. I might be getting ahead of myself, might be getting carried away. Mia and Maisie still need to qualify, but that is what people are talking about, and that is why people here in Milan that are following the Games from a Team GB perspective are all making the trip out to Livigno for that.
Yeah, because the stats behind that, Michael, are that, as I said earlier, Team GB have only ever won 1 medal between days 0 and 7. So that would be, if Mia and Kirsty both happen to get a medal, that would be groundbreaking. We've never won 3 medals in a single day, even if we get Kirsty and Mia on the podium and they get better than 2 bronzes, which we did in 2018. That would be the best ever day at an Olympic Games in terms of medals, because I think Torvill and Dean probably still the greatest ever day in Winter Olympic history, wouldn't it? But this is the thing, isn't it? As media, we get carried away. These are the things that we're thinking about as we're planning the days ahead. And hopefully we're giving people an idea of what to look out for as well. A couple of other headlines just to be aware of. On Monday, we start the skeleton. We heard from Amelia Coltman and Marcus Wyatt earlier. They both have training heats out on the Cortina Sliding Centre, official training heats for the next few days in the skeleton. And it's the final round of mixed curling as well on Monday morning before they then move to the semi-finals. But of course, as we know, we're already there.
Yep, 7 from 7. I think that is the key takeaway. That's the key headline of this opening weekend as far as Team GB are concerned. This is Milano Daily from Anything But Footy. Don't forget, you can find us across social media, and we are updating as we go there. Lots of lovely images of Milan looking wonderful for these games, all dressed in its very best. You can also go online to anythingbutfooty.com. You can read our blogs there, find out what we're all about. You can listen to some of the stuff that John and I do on the podcast and on the radio as well. If you've had enough of listening to us, and well, why wouldn't you? You can also listen to the Olympics music playlist, which we've put together on Spotify, and we're always adding tracks onto there. You've got official Olympic songs that have been performed at Olympic ceremonies. So I think we've added a bit of Mariah Carey to that one recently, and Andrea Bocelli's on there with Nessun Dorma as well. So give that a listen.
Valari has been added, but it was by the Gypsy Kings. But it's on there.
Version. Great version. This is Milano Daily from Anything But Footy.
Hi, I'm Eve Muirhead. I'm chef de mission. You're listening to Anything But Footy with the latest on the Winter Olympics.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.